Welcome to our deep dive today into the leader who had no title. Oh, and don't worry, if your desk doesn't exactly have like a nameplate, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
We'll be kind of pulling out practical leadership principles from this book.
Okay.
Think of it as distilling, years of wisdom into a potent shot of inspiration.
Right.
It follows this disillusioned war veteran, Blake Davis, as he kind of stumbles upon these unconventional leadership lessons in, of all places, a dusty old bookstore.
It's interesting how the book sets that up. You've got Blake back from Iraq feeling lost.
Yeah.
And then this chance meeting with this quirky, almost mythical mentor figure, Tommy Flynn.
Right from the start, the book packs a punch with this line. Each of us is born into genius. It's a good reminder for anyone feeling stuck, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And what's intriguing is that instead of launching into these abstract theories, the book uses Blake's journey to kind of bring these principles to life.
Yeah.
Chapter 2 throws us right into the action with Blake's first encounter with Tommy, who challenges him to confront his own legacy.
Okay.
In a graveyard, no less.
A graveyard meeting. That's a bold move. What's the thinking behind that, and what kind of impact does it have on Blake?
The graveyard scene is a brilliant metaphor for confronting our own mortality and the legacy we want to leave behind. Tommy shows Blake two graves, one representing a life of mediocrity, the other a life of leadership.
Right.
This visualization forces Blake and us as readers to ask ourselves, what will be etched on our metaphorical headstone? Will it be a life of playing it safe, or one of taking risks and making a difference?
It's interesting how the book uses these vivid scenes to drive home its points. So we've got Blake. He's faced his mortality. Where does this unconventional mentorship go from there?
The story unfolds through a series of encounters with four unlikely mentors. Each encounter highlights a core leadership principle.
Okay.
For example, Blake meets Anna, a hotel housekeeper, who embodies the idea that leadership isn't about your title, but your mindset.
A hotel housekeeper.
Okay.
It's not your typical leadership guru. I'm curious to hear how this plays out.
Anna challenges Blake's preconceived notions of what a leader should be.
Oh.
She lives by the powerful belief. Approach any job with excellence and treat it as the most important job in the world.
It's about finding meaning and purpose in every task, no matter how small.
Right.
That's a powerful message for anyone feeling undervalued or stuck in a rut.
Precisely, and she backs this up with practical advice like her Daily 5.
That sounds intriguing. What exactly are the Daily 5, and how can our listeners apply this to their own lives?
It's about making small, consistent improvements each day that compound into massive results over time.
Right.
One of the daily actions is expressing gratitude. Anna suggests starting each day by writing down 5 things you're grateful for, which helps shift your mindset to a more positive and abundant state. Another daily action is setting 3 small, achievable goals for the day, which helps build momentum and a sense of accomplishment.
It reminds me of the saying, what gets measured gets managed. By setting these small goals and tracking our progress, we're more likely to stay motivated and achieve those larger aspirations.
Exactly, and it all ties back to the idea that leadership isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistently showing up and making a conscious effort to improve day after day. But it's not all about introspection. Anna emphasizes the outward impact we can have even in seemingly ordinary roles.
Okay.
She calls them the 4 natural powers.
Okay, I'm intrigued to break down these 4 natural powers for us.
The first is the power to strive for excellence in everything you do.
Right.
The second is the power to inspire others through your actions and attitude.
Okay.
The third is the power to drive change, even in small ways. And the fourth is the power to cultivate a positive and uplifting culture, whether it's in your workplace or your personal life.
So it's about recognizing that we all have influence regardless of our title. We can all choose to be a force for good in the world, inspiring those around us. But it's not always smooth sailing, right?
Right.
Life throws curveballs, and sometimes we face setbacks or uncertainties. How does the book address that aspect of leadership?
That's where our next teacher comes in, Ty Boyd, a former world champion skier turned ski shop owner.
Okay.
He uses a powerful metaphor. Lean into the fall line.
Okay, I'm picturing myself on a mountaintop right now, leaning into the fall line. I'm already feeling a bit out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Explain this metaphor and how it translates to leadership.
Ty explains that in skiing, the natural inclination is to lean away from the fall line, the steepest path down the mountain. But to ski with grace and control, you actually need to lean into it. It feels counterintuitive, even scary, but that's where the magic happens. He then connects this to leadership, urging Blake and by extension, us to embrace discomfort and change as catalysts for growth.
It's about pushing past our comfort zones and viewing challenges as opportunities for learning and development. But what if we stumble or even fall along the way? How does Tai suggest we navigate those setbacks?
He reminds us that even the most experienced skiers have wipeouts. The key is to learn from those falls, dust yourself off, and get back on the slopes. It's about resilience and a willingness to embrace discomfort as part of the growth process.
So instead of fearing failure, we should reframe it as an opportunity to learn and improve. It's about adopting a growth mindset, recognizing that our abilities aren't fixed, but rather they can be developed through effort and a willingness to embrace challenges.
Precisely, and this ties back to the book's overarching theme. You don't need a fancy title to embody leadership qualities. Whether you're a seasoned executive or just starting out, embracing discomfort and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth is essential for success.
This resonates deeply, especially in today's rapidly changing world. But let's face it, navigating those changes and leading effectively often requires collaboration and strong relationships. How does the book address that aspect of leadership?
That's where our next teacher comes in.
Yeah.
Jackson Chan, a retired CEO turned passionate gardener who teaches Blake about the importance of deep, genuine connections.
A gardener. Now that's an interesting twist. I'm eager to hear how a gardener embodies leadership without a formal title.
It's not about barking orders from a corner office for Jackson. His core message is this: the deeper your relationships, the stronger your leadership. He believes that genuine connection, whether it's with colleagues, clients, or even the people you meet day to day, forms the bedrock of any successful endeavor.
So it's not just about networking, it's about cultivating authentic relationships. I can see how that would be crucial for anyone really, but especially someone in a leadership position. What are some of the specific ways Jackson suggests we build these deeper connections?
He's a firm believer in face-to-face interaction. In a world increasingly reliant on emails and virtual communication, Jackson encourages us to ditch the digital whenever possible and prioritize in-person meetings. It's about building trust and rapport through genuine human connection.
That makes a lot of sense. It's easy to lose sight of the importance of those personal interactions in our digital age. But it's not just about being physically present, is it? What about the quality of those interactions?
You're hitting on a crucial point. Jackson emphasizes the importance of speaking with candor and authenticity. It's about expressing yourself honestly and respectfully, even when it's difficult, and creating a safe space for others to do the same. This kind of open and honest dialogue is what builds true trust.
That takes courage, doesn't it? To show up authentically and speak your truth, especially in a professional setting.
Absolutely, and Jackson acknowledges that it's not always easy. But he argues that true leadership requires vulnerability. It's about letting go of the need to have all the answers and being willing to admit when you're wrong. This authenticity, he believes, is what inspires trust and loyalty in those around you.
It's about building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding rather than hierarchy or power dynamics. Jackson also shares a powerful story about a leadership workshop he attended that really drives home the importance of valuing every individual within an organization. I'd love to hear more about that.
At the end of the workshop, they were given a test, and the last question was, write the name of our company's janitor. Even in CEO, Jackson didn't know. He'd seen the janitor around, but never taken the time to truly connect with him. He failed the test, and it was a wake-up call.
That's a powerful lesson. It's a reminder that everyone, regardless of their role or title, contributes to the overall success of a team or organization. And when we recognize and value each individual, we create a stronger, more connected, and ultimately more successful culture.
And to help us cultivate these deeper connections, Jackson shares a handy acronym: HUMAN.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's break down HUMAN.
H stands for helpful. It's about going above and beyond to support others, whether they're colleagues, clients, or even strangers.
Simple but powerful. People can tell when you're genuinely invested in helping them succeed.
The U stands for understanding, which emphasizes deep listening, a skill that's becoming increasingly rare. It's about quieting your own thoughts and ego, and truly focusing on what the other person is saying without judgment or interruption.
In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of listening to respond rather than listening to understand. But deep listening is essential for building empathy and fostering genuine connection. What comes next?
The M is for mingle. This ties back to Jackson's emphasis on face-to-face interaction. It's about making an effort to get to know the people around you, whether it's grabbing coffee with a colleague or striking up a conversation with someone new.
It's about stepping outside your comfort zone and building those personal connections that are so essential for creating a positive and collaborative work environment.
The A might surprise you. It stands for amuse. Jackson believes that laughter and a sense of fun are crucial for a healthy workplace culture.
It's about creating an environment where people feel comfortable being themselves, having fun, and not taking themselves too seriously. That can go a long way in boosting morale and creativity. And finally, the N.
N is for nurture, just as a gardener tends to their plants. Relationships require consistent care and attention. It's about making time for those connections, checking in with people, and showing that you genuinely care about their well-being.
These principles resonate deeply with me. It's a great reminder that leadership is about fostering genuine connections and creating a culture of support and mutual respect. But what about the inner work? How can we develop the self-awareness and emotional intelligence needed to lead effectively? That's where our next teacher comes in, right?
Exactly. Meet Jet Brisley, a renowned massage therapist who teaches Blake the importance of mastering the inside to effectively lead on the outside.
A massage therapist. I have to admit, I'm curious to see how this connects to leadership. It seems like a departure from the previous mentors. What's the thinking behind this pairing?
Jet's expertise lies in understanding the mind-body connection. He teaches Blake that our outer success stems directly from our inner state. Think of it this way. You can't effectively lead others if you haven't mastered yourself.
It's like the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to prioritize your own well-being and development to effectively lead and inspire others.
Exactly. Jet emphasizes practices like self-awareness, mindfulness, and emotional regulation as the foundation for effective leadership, and he breaks it down into a simple acronym, SHINE.
I love a good acronym. It helps make these concepts more memorable and actionable. Walk us through SHINE.
S stands for Start Your Day Strong. Jet's a big believer in establishing a morning routine that sets you up for success. He suggests waking up an hour earlier than usual and dedicating that time to self-care and personal development.
It's about being proactive and starting your day with intention, rather than getting caught in the reactive mode of emails and to-do lists. What are some of the specific activities Jet recommends for a power-packed morning routine?
He suggests a combination of physical exercise, mindfulness practices like meditation or journaling, and reading something inspiring or educational. It's about feeding your mind, body, and soul before diving into the demands of the day.
It's like setting the foundation for a productive and fulfilling day. And I can see how this inner work would translate to stronger leadership. When you're grounded and centered, you're better equipped to handle challenges, make sound decisions, and inspire those around you. What's the H in SHINE?
The H stands for Honor Your Past. This doesn't mean dwelling on regrets or mistakes, but rather acknowledging how past experiences have shaped who you are today.
It's about learning from our experiences, both positive and negative, and using those lessons to grow and evolve as leaders.
Jet emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, both of ourselves and others. Holding on to anger and resentment only holds us back.
It's about letting go of what we can't control and focusing on what we can, our present actions and future aspirations. This ties back to the growth mindset we discussed earlier. What's next in SHINE?
The I stands for Invest in Yourself, which emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and growth. It's about dedicating time to expand your knowledge, acquire new skills, and broaden your horizons.
The learning never stops, does it? Especially in today's rapidly changing world. Whether it's reading books, taking courses, or attending industry events, it's about staying curious and investing in your own development.
And the N stands for Nurture Your Inner World, which ties back to the importance of mindset. Jet encourages us to cultivate a positive and empowering inner dialogue.
It's about becoming aware of our self-talk and consciously choosing to focus on positive and uplifting thoughts, because the stories we tell ourselves can either empower or limit us.
Exactly. And finally, the E stands for Express Your Uniqueness. Jet reminds us that our individuality is a strength, not a weakness.
It's about embracing what makes us different and bringing our authentic selves to our work and our leadership. So Blake has had this whirlwind day of mentorship, gathering wisdom from these 4 unlikely leaders. What happens next? Does he actually become this leader without a title?
Here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. After that incredible day, Blake never sees Tommy Flynn again. He simply disappears.
Disappears, as in vanishes without a trace.
Gone. Blake returns to the bookstore expecting to find him, but he's nowhere to be found.
That's quite a cliffhanger. So what happens to Blake? Does he give up on this whole leading without a title thing without his mentor?
Not at all. A few weeks later, he receives a mysterious package. Inside is a letter from Tommy Flynn.
A letter from the missing mentor. Okay, now I'm hooked. What does the letter say?
It's a powerful reminder of everything Blake learned during their day together. It brings together the core principles of leading without a title, and encourages Blake to embrace his own unique path.
It's like Tommy knew he wouldn't be there to guide Blake physically, so he left him with this final message, a sort of leadership torch to carry forward.
Precisely. The letter empowers Blake to trust his instincts, embrace his leadership potential, and make a difference in the world. And while the book ends without revealing the specifics of Blake's journey, it leaves us with a sense of hope and possibility.
It's a reminder that leadership isn't about waiting for a promotion or a fancy title. It's about taking initiative, inspiring others, and making a positive impact no matter where we are in our journey.
And that's a powerful message for all of us. It's about recognizing that leadership isn't reserved for a select few. It's a potential that resides within each of us.
What I find particularly inspiring is the book's emphasis on the ripple effect. Even small actions, when done with intention and authenticity, can create positive change that extends far beyond ourselves.
Think about the people you interact with daily, your colleagues, your family, even the barista who makes your morning coffee. Each interaction is an opportunity to lead by example, to show up with kindness, integrity, and a willingness to make a difference.
It's about shifting our mindset from what's in it for me to how can I make a positive impact. And the beautiful thing is that it doesn't require grand gestures. It's about those small, consistent actions that, when multiplied, create a ripple effect of positive change.
This book reminds us that leadership is a choice we make every single day. It's about showing up authentically, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and committing to leaving the world a little better than we found it.
This has been such a thought-provoking deep dive. If anyone listening is feeling inspired to unlock their own leadership potential, I encourage you to pick up a copy of The Leader Who Had No Title. But before you do, here's a challenge for you. Think of one small action you can take today to embrace your own leadership potential. It could be as simple as offering a helping hand to a colleague, expressing gratitude to someone who made a difference in your day, or committing to learning something new. Remember, leadership is not about the title you hold, but the impact you make.